Welcome to my D&D Beyond step-by-step homebrewing tutorial. I'm Nosfero, and today we look at implementing the Clockwork Soul Sorcerer. Surprisingly, the official version of this subclass in D&D Beyond is actually incorrect, as it does not allow the choosing of spells for the Clockwork Magic feature. Let's show them how to do it right, shall we? Are you ready? Because we are about to begin. Let's load up the D&D Beyond main page and let's get started. Go to that Collections tab and select Create Subclass. In the top drop-down, select Sorcerer and click Create from Scratch. The page loads up. In that name field, we're going to type in Clockwork Soul and then the little moniker, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. In the version field, we'll type in 5e. For the short description, we are going to copy that from my favorite dnd5e.wikidot.com. Take that, we'll copy it, head back and paste it in. Then for our description, we're going to select everything from the D&D on the dnd5e.wikidot.com page. Ooh. There we are. Drop it in. For spellcasting ability, we are using Charisma. We can cast spells. We prepare at the full level, and we know all the spells. Now, we're not adding any spell lists here because the first feature actually requires something different. So head on down to that orange Create Subclass button and click it. When the page loads up, let's click that Add a Class Feature button. The name of the feature we're going to type in is the Clockwork Magic feature. And it's going to be definitely one of our more complicated ones. Let's scroll on over back to the Wikidot page and let's highlight the first two paragraphs of the feature. Let's paste that into the snippet. Now, that sentence that I've highlighted, these spells can't be replaced when you gain a level in this class, is completely wrong. So we're going to delete that. Okay, now let's head back. We'll highlight the entire thing, tables and all. And we'll paste that into the description. And once again, we're going to scroll on up and we'll get rid of that sentence in the first paragraph. These spells can't be replaced when you gain a level in this class, because that's completely untrue. And I don't know why Wikidot thought to put that in there. So for required class level, I believe this was for level 1. This is level 1. Display order is going to be 1. It has options. And this is where things get interesting. Okay, so we need to put in 1, 1, 3, 3, 5, 5, 7, 7, 9, 9, with commas each in between. Now what that means is we will have 2 available options to pick at level 1, 2 available options to pick at level 3, same thing at 5, 7, and 9. So a total of 10 options that we get to pick. Now move on over to the feature type field, click the granted, and click that orange Create Class Feature button. When the page reloads, we're going to scroll on down to the Class Feature Options button, the blue one. Click it. Now the name for this option, I'm going to pick from our table, which I'm going to switch over here, the Clockwork Spells table. So each one of these options is going to represent one of these spells that are recommended here in the table. So our first option is going to be Alarm. So in our snippet and description fields, we will type in, well, I copy in, learn the alarm spell or pick another from the list. Scroll on down to the required class level field, pick one. Now that everything has been plugged in for this option, let's go ahead and click that orange Create Option button. When the page reloads, we're going to scroll on down. We're going to get to that spells section and we're going to click Add a Spell. Now this is where things get tricky. The spell lists that we're supposed to be able to choose from are abjuration and transmutation spells from the Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizards. Now we can select the spell classes, but we cannot select the schools. So we have to input every single spell one by one. So let's get to it. I have created the lists for the abjuration and transmutation spells for the first level, second level, third level, fourth level, and fifth level, and they are all in the description field below. So if you want to follow along, grab one of those lists from the description and get to it. Absorb elements, then alarm, then armor of Agathys, which Armor of Agathys is not in the basic rule set. It is in the player's handbook. Catapult. Expeditious Retreat. If you do not have some of the spells that I'm able to type in, that is okay. I have a few of the books bought for my D&D Beyond account. So I actually have, Magnify Gravity is not in here, so I'll have to program that in later. Protection from evil and good. Shield. And Snare. So what I was saying earlier is that if you are not able to find all of these spells that I've been able to put into my spell list, that is okay, and you just need to program them in yourself, and then you'll be able to add them. I have a lot of them because I have Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, and I have Xanthar's Guide to Everything. I have those books attached to my account. Now that we've added all the spells, we need to go down and we need to fix these four fields. Consume spell slot? Yes. Counts as a known spell? No. Always prepared? Yes. And this is available at character level 1. Go on over, click that save button. When the page reloads, we're going to go scroll up and we're going to click that orange save changes button again to make sure that the option is fully saved. Now, due to the bug in the D&D Beyond homebrewing system, it brings us right back to the option. So we need to scroll on down to that cancel button and click it. Now that we've input the alarm class feature option, we need to do the same for the other spell, which I believe was protection from good and evil. Yes, okay, great. So protection from good and evil. Is that all capitalized? Nope, I did it right. Okay. I'm going to paste in what I copied from earlier and edit it. Okay, we'll add that to both our snippet and our description fields. Learn the protection from evil spell, from good and evil spell. Oops. Or pick another from the list. Once again, this is granted to us at class level 1. And go ahead and create option button, the orange one. Now this is going to look familiar because we're going to go down to that spell section. We're going to click add a spell and we're going to type in that same list again. Absorb elements, alarm. Oops. Okay. Armor of Agathys. Catapult. Expeditious. Feather. Fall. Jump. Longstrider. Mage Armor. Magnify Gravity isn't there, so I'm not even going to bother. Protection from good and evil. Shield. And Snare. Scroll on down. This does consume a spell slot. It doesn't count as a known spell, and it is always prepared, and it's available at level 1. Go ahead and click that save button. Like we did with the previous option, click the orange Save Changes button. And then when the page reloads, the cancel button. Now that we've seen the first two options, I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the other 8 lists. The lists are in the description field, as I said before, so that way if you want to do this on your own, you can plug them in. See you soon. Now we are back, and I have filled out all the rest of the tables. So now we have 2 options at the 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 9th levels. And each of these spell lists corresponds to the correct spells that are for each of the different spell levels. Now that we've entered them all, and as I said before, I cut off to do the tables on my own, all of these spell lists are in the description so that you can enter them the same way I entered them for the 1st level spell tables. So now that I'm all done, I'm going to go ahead and go up to that orange Save Changes button, click it. Scroll on down. And remember, this has a bug. So we need to click the cancel button in order to get out of the feature. That's a bug in the Homebrew system. We've completed the first class feature. So let's add the next one. So as that page loads up, I'm going to scroll over to the Wikidot page, and let's find Restore Balance. Go ahead and copy that. Let's head back over. So the name of this feature is Restore Balance. Let's go ahead and paste that in. Acquired class level is 1. Display order is 2. It's granted. And let's create that class feature. Let's scroll on down. We need to create an action. So click that blue Add Action button. Page loads up. Let's go to the General tab. Let's name it Restore Balance. We will not display it as an attack. It will have a range of 60. Activation type, what was it? It was reaction. Reset type is a long rest. Let's go ahead and paste in our description and snippet fields. Let's go ahead and scroll on down to that blue save field. We now need to enter how many times we can actually use this feature before we need to do a long rest. And that is by our proficiency bonus. Okay. So now we have the limited use, and we have this as a reaction. Okay. Go ahead and click that save button. And this feature is a lot better and a lot easier than the last feature. Go back up to the orange Save Changes button, click it. It will reload that current page. So go on down to the cancel button. Two subclass features down, only 3 more to go. Click that blue Add a Class Feature button. Let's go over here and we are going to select the Bastion of Law. Okay. Bastion of Law. We'll paste that, what we copied, into the snippet field. And description fields. Scroll on down to the required class level. That is 6. Display order is going to be 3. Feature type is going to be granted. And we're going to click the Create Class Feature orange button. Now that the page is reloaded, we want to add an action. So scroll on down to the Add Action section and click it. When the page loads, scroll on down to the Action Type button and click General. We're going to name it Bastion of Law. Scroll on down to the Display as an Attack. It is going to be No. Activation type is an action. Range, almost forgot that one, 30. What else? We need to go into the snippet and description fields, and we'll go ahead and paste that in. And I don't think we need to hit the reset type this time. Okay, yes. Go to that blue save button. And we scroll on down when the page reloads, and we click that blue save button again, because we are done with this class feature. So when the page loads back for the main feature, click the orange Save Changes button. And then when it reloads one more time, we click the Cancel button. 3 class features down, 2 more to go. Click that blue button. Now what's the next one? Trance of Order. This is a bonus action. Let's go ahead and highlight that, copy it, head back on over. So that was, sorry, what was it again? Trance of Order. Okay, paste into the snippet and description fields everything we just copied. That is 14. Display orders 4. Granted. Create the class feature. Scroll on down. We're going to add an action. So we have it on our character sheet. Go over to the general. It is Trance of Order. Once again, we're not going to display it as an attack. Activation type is bonus action. Reset type, we're going to do other. Then we'll paste in the snippet and description fields. Go ahead and save changes. Scroll on down. We're going to do the limited use. We're going to do limited use of 1. Go ahead and click that save button. Scroll on down again. Let's save it. We're done with this class feature. One more time. Scroll down to the cancel button. Four class features down, only 1 more to go. Click that Add a Class Feature button. Let's head over to the wiki page, and we are going to highlight the Clockwork Cavalcade. At least that's how I think it's pronounced. Clockwork Cavalcade. Paste in a snippet and descriptions. Scroll on down to the required class level. That is 18. Display order is 5. Feature type is granted. Click the orange button. Now, once again, this is adding an action feature. So click that blue add action button. The action type is going to be general. Once again, we're going to use the same name, Clockwork Cavalcade. We're going to scroll down to display as attack. It is not. Area of effect type instead of range. It's a cube, 30 feet. Activation type is an action, and reset type is other. Go ahead and paste in that snippet and description fields. And click save. Scroll down. And we are going to update the limited use, because we can use it one time before we need to use sorcery points. So in the add limited use to action, type in 1 for number of uses, and click save. And we are done with the action. So let's go ahead and save it. And we are also done with the last feature. So click that orange Save Changes button, and then scroll down to that cancel button. Now that we have finished our subclass, let's take a look what it looks like on a character sheet. I've clicked on over to my character, and I'm going to add a sorcerer. I'm going to click on that sorcerer's origin field and let us select our Clockwork Soul. As soon as it pops up, we can see that we have our Clockwork Magic with options. So we're going to pick the alarm, which then allows us to pick a spell from the list that we specified. I'm going to go ahead and pick Absorb Elements. Now the other option that we can pick is our Protection from Good and Evil, which also allows us to choose a spell from that same list. Okay, let's go over to the character sheet and let's take a look. Let's get rid of that item. Get rid of that armor. So without choosing anything except for the options, we have the Absorb Elements and the Protection of Good and Evil from our Clockwork Magic feature. Let's go ahead and make this a level 3 sorcerer so we can see the next options. Make that a level 3 sorcerer. We now have more choices. We click the level 3 option, we can now choose Lesser Restoration or Aid. And it also has its own list. I'm going to choose Enhance Ability. And then for Aid, I actually am going to choose Pearly Spider Climb. There we go. Let's head on over to the character sheet, which we'll be able to see we have 4 spells now. Okay, we have them all. Let's now scroll this all the way up, and we can take a look at all the features that we implemented. Set that sorcerer level to level 20. And now we have the ability to specify a lot of options. Now, here's an interesting gotcha. I can select a level 5, but they end up being the level 9 options. Now, the only time this would be necessarily an issue is if we had a campaign where your character could lose levels, and then you would potentially not be able to have those higher level spells. But otherwise, if it's just going to adhere to how normal progression works, then you will only encounter the options you need as you get up to them. I wouldn't pick Glyph of Warding, I'd pick Haste for sure. Okay, I'm not going to pick all the options, but you saw that they were there. So let's go over to the character sheet. Let's take a look at the options. Not options, no. The features that we implemented. So Bastion of Law, right, is an action. And we'll be able to click on it to be able to pull it up because it's a description-based action. It's not really something we can easily do a roller on because the rollers depend upon how many sorcerer points and, and all that. And they're given off to other people. Clockwork Cavalcade can be used once unless we restore it via sorcery points, and it has a bunch of different types of actions that can be done with it. We have our Trance of Order. That's also in here. And our last one is our Restore Balance, which is tied to our proficiency bonus. And yes, so there we go. Let's wrap up this video. Today, I performed a step-by-step video on how to implement the Clockwork Soul Sorcerer subclass in DnD Beyond. During that homebrew, I covered why we were deviating from how DnD Beyond's team implemented the subclass, since the Clockwork Magic Learned Spells table should be pickable from a list, with the recommended spells being on that table. I also revealed how the spell lists we need for Clockwork Magic feature were not easy to put together since we cannot select spells by school type, so the spell lists are posted in the description field of this video for easier compilation for you. Remember, though, that unless you own the book that the spell comes from, or you have already homebrewed the spell, you will not be able to add it to the subclass. Once we were done with the homebrew, we then took a moment to spin up a character with my newly created subclass, and we looked at how many features were implemented and what they looked like. If you liked what you saw, click that like button. If you enjoyed the content and want to be notified when I post more, hit that subscribe button. If you have something specific you want me to homebrew, contact me through Discord at Gaming with Nosfro or via email, both of which can be found in the description below. Thanks for watching. Until next time.